Larry Lamb is with us today, and we're talking about cancer. And unfortunately, most of us will have been affected or know someone who has been affected by cancer in one way or another. A very cruel disease, but there are charities out there that aim to help and support people affected, particularly charities like Macmillan. And Larry has been an advocate, ambassador for, 10 more years now, haven't you? We've talked about this
10,
before.
11, I think, now.
And it was because of your brother Wes that you even ever heard of Macmillan initially. Tell us about Wes.
An old friend of mine, Lex van Delden, put me in touch with them, but then it came face-to-face years later when poor old Wes was, for the second time around, going through throat cancer, which turned into tongue cancer. And he and I were, I don't know, you know, not unique at all. People fall out, family. You know, when we were boys, people thought we were just, you know, we were inseparable. But as we got older, you know, we drifted apart. Our lives just went in totally different ways. And he lived up in the far northeast. I was down here in the south, and you know, there were times when months, maybe a year or two went by, we didn't speak. Never a real fallout, but we just drew apart. And then when it all really kicked off and it was getting very bad and there was a strong possibility it was approaching the end and he was going to have to go into a hospice. My sister was talking to one of the nurses up in the northeast of it, and one of them was a Macmillan nurse, and she said, I think it'd be a very good idea if you sort of do a bit of bridge building and get up there. And I thought, well, you know, every time we get together it all sort of turns wonky, so I decided to go, and I thought, well, I'll have a day with him. And, you know, I went in, and there he was in his bed, and of course he couldn't talk, but he would write little messages, and, you know, the messages made me laugh, as he always made me laugh. He, you know, for me, he was the funniest thing that ever walked. And so, you know, with no verbs, no words, no nothing, we were cracking each other up.
Yes.
And the one day led into another, and you know, they just said, look, you know, if you want to sleep, sleep there. There was a little bed in the corner, and that's it. I spent the last 7 days with him.
Yeah, and what you're saying is it was the Macmillan nurses that identified.
It was the Macmillan nurse that said to me, what you need to do is you need to have a chat with him. You need to kind of make this up, because
she knew the end was the
end.
Yeah, well,
these people are professionals. They know what it's all about. You know, the fewer times you get involved with that, the better. But, you know, she knew what was likely the politics, what was likely to be going on without having the details. And I think underneath it all, what she was aware of, because she'd been around him, was that there was no animosity, and that, you know, what he wanted was support. What he wanted was to feel this thing of the family coming on. And so, you know, that was it for me. And I remember in the midst of one of these conversations, which was very difficult because it was one way and, you know, writing things down, I was over him, like, because he was lying in his back. And he went... I said, well, you want a kiss? And he went... And so we kissed each other. And I felt his hand go round the back of my head, and my hand went round the back of his head, and we were sort of like stroking each other like little monkeys, like when we're just like when we were boys, you know. He was just over 70, and me over 70.
Yeah. And were you there when he actually passed, Larry?
This is the weird thing. They knew right from the beginning when I was up there that the problem was I had another friend in London, a friend very close to the same point, and I was trying to sort of do the two things, and they said, look, you know, we're here with him, and it's only going to be, you know, because it had gone on for 5 days longer than they expected, and they said, look, you know, we'll hold the fort, we'll keep in touch. And so they said, you just head off and go south. And as I went south, I got the call. They said, that's it, he's gone. So
but you must be grateful for that nurse for making that call, because he could have gone without you seeing him.
It really changed my life. It really did. It changed my attitude to death. It changed my attitude to the whole thing of making amends, of healing up those wounds that have sort of festered for years for whatever reason, and I'm just so grateful that I actually went and did what I did and spent that time with them. We hadn't spent time like that since we were baby boys.
Yes.
And to remember that, and I still, you know, I'll be thinking of him, and I always say, well, just save me a decent place, and I don't want anybody around me that I don't like, all right? So, which is exactly how he would want to be remembered,
Of course. And that must have meant so much to him as well.
Was.
Yeah.
It was.
Just to give you the statistics on cancer, 1 in 2 of you will be diagnosed with cancer in your lifetime. 3 million people in Britain are currently living with cancer, and around 1,000 are getting diagnosed every single day. 1,000 diagnoses every day. There are more than 166,000 cancer deaths every year. That works out at 450 a day. Now, Macmillan Cancer Support is one of the largest British charities to support people affected. And as you hear from Larry there, it provides specialist healthcare, information, financial support, whilst also looking at the social, emotional and practical impact cancer can have, because this is not something you totally want to be in hospital for. You can live your life, you can be outside.
And it's also looking after the people that are looking after people, you know. This is it. It's
yeah.
all that backup. And so for me, the Macmillan Coffee Morning is the way to do it. And, of course, last year, with no coffee morning, their take, as it were, and they're 90% supported by charity, their take for the coffee morning, which had risen over the years, I saw it get to 30 million, dropped to 10.
Because of the pandemic.
So they lost 20 million
I mean,
last year. And of course, that's a massive,
yeah.
massive percentage.
We should tell you it is the 24th of September, if you want to take part in this. It's the world's biggest coffee morning, 24th of September.
Or Macmillan say, or any day, actually. But then
Absolutely,
24th of
do it anyway.
September.
Anybody can do it. You can just do it.
Can you remember the first one you went to? Because you've been to a lot.
I can. The Charing Cross Hospital, yeah. And, I overdid it on the cakes. Unfortunately, I was determined I wasn't going to overdo it on the cakes, but I did, because you've got the entire staff of a major hospital bringing cakes down to one point. Every single sort of cake you can imagine from everywhere, and I was having a bit of this, bit of this, bit of that.
this.
Certainly unforgettable.
Larry, you would be a great guy to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a drink with. The conversation wouldn't be short.
There you go.
With you.
That's the one thing I like. I'd love to do it with you one of these days. Is just sit and have a wee bit of crack,
well,
right?
I'm a great admirer of you because, you're of pensionable age now. You're very active. You're very trendy.
You're old, right?
You keep going. What has Wes's life and death taught you? As you get older and you think about your own mortality and things, what has Wes's passing brought home to you?
Just how valuable it is. Just how important it is to hang on for as long as you can. Just live the life. He got cut off in his prime. He would have gone on. He'd have gone on forever.
Yeah. Well,
but he was cut off by that.
May you go on
disease.
forever, mate. You're always an inspiration. You're always acting. You're always doing some sort of physical biking or something. There's always something going. Always a pleasure talking to you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. And we should say this is to Wes. We raise a cup for Wes and everybody else on the world's biggest coffee morning, 24th of September. Take part if you can.
There you go, Wes.